Yes, people, what we're saying, welcome back to my channel and my show. We are the South Stand every single Thursday night now, 7 p.m. We're going to go live with different guests. Today's guest is MCFC lads. You know who he is. Luke, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, mate. Cheers for having me on, mate. Excited to talk about City funds, mate. I've had too long away from it, mate. It's not good for me.
You've been a bit quiet, mate. What's been going on, man? You're usually rattling up them reds and that. But what's been happening?
I've been bored, mate. I've been absolutely bored. But it was good to see City play, I suppose, in some form the other day. Looking forward to going down to Wembley in a couple of weeks, mate.
Well, listen, you weren't as bored as me, who went to watch Accrington Stanley versus Barnsley at weekend. Or have you been worse than that?
Mate, not quite at them lengths yet, mate. But we'll see in the next couple of weeks. I don't think it was ever on the cards to go to America, but it's good to just watch it on the TV and just see City a bit.
No, you're right. Anyway, we had a little taster. The other night we played Celtic, North Carolina. I watched the open training session and the press conference in the studio at the Etihad the other day with Paul Dickov. I thought that Pep's press conference was okay. I felt like he looked a little bit fresher. And I feel like he spoke well. And he did surprise me a little bit talking about James Mcfc and that he's looking forward to watching him. And he's definitely learned a lot going on loan to Sheffield United. What was your thoughts of that press conference? Because I don't think anyone expected him to talk like that about Mcfc.
Yeah, I was expecting him to kind of play it down and see where he's at. Because if you think about a year ago, everyone was thinking Cole Palmer, where's he going to go? What's he going to do? Pep's been he's had a bit of a different approach. Imagine a year ago asking him about Cole Palmer, he'd have said, "Oh, I'm not sure." He'd have probably played it down a bit. And as he said, the approach to that question was more sort of defending him, saying, "Yeah, he's a great player. I want to keep him. He thinks him highly." And it says a lot, to be honest. It's probably given McAtee a lot of confidence, and that's probably the best thing for him, to be honest, in this situation. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm excited to see what he can do, because he's had two years at Sheffield United. The first one probably better than the second, but obviously in two different divisions, it's difficult to kind of upgrade to the Prem so quickly. But yeah, especially in that pretty shit side as well in Sheffield United last year that went down. I'm excited to see what he can do.
And obviously, we know that this squad is a lot top heavy with the young kids. I think you'll probably agree with me. There's a couple of kids in the squad. Well, they're not kids anymore. Wilson Esbrand and Bite, who, in my opinion, I don't think have got a future at Manchester City. No. I think they've been palmed out on loan. Den Bosch, Rennes, Coventry City, etc., etc. And we came up against a Celtic team that were probably 2 or 3 weeks further into pre-season than us. And it was just mad how, like, Esbrand and Mbite did look that weak link in that first half. What was your thoughts on the first half? Did anyone stand out first half for you? And is there anyone you're looking forward to seeing in the next game?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching it and I just thought, you know, they must be nice guys. I don't want to have a massive go of them, but as you said, Mbete and Wilson Esbrand, I don't think they've got quite a future at City. As you said, they've been loaned out here and there in the low divisions, abroad in the low divisions as well. I think they're a little bit out the depth, a little bit, especially being maybe not at full fitness. I think, you know, they'll get a few minutes just to make up the squad, and it's good to have them around if the other players know them and stuff like that. But I just think they'll probably get moved on at some point. I'm excited to see McAtee, see what he can get his hands on, and also I'm excited to see Oscar Bobb again, because he was so good, mate. And last season he obviously broke through, got that winning goal against Newcastle, was pretty memorable. And I just want to see if he can perform like that again, because I think people were talking about him and Rico Lewis getting loaned out, and I don't see it personally. I think they're going to stay with the team, and I want them to as well, because they're really good players and they're so young as well.
Yeah, there was a player coming into the tournament who I like, Nico O'Reilly. I thought he did okay. He showed some good touches. I feel like he could have released the ball a little bit earlier on occasions. I feel like Jack Grealish looked in great shape. I feel like he looked okay, and he's obviously been training. Other than that, the first half, I just think Celtic caught us on that break. I think the Japanese players that they have are very, very fast, and it was we couldn't cope at times. But also, I think when we did get the ball, City, we did play some good football, and I think Kasper Schmeichel saved them a little bit. You know what I mean? We could have scored a few. What do you think of the players like Erling Haaland, KalvinPhilips? One we got to talk about. You know, he's got his chance again, but is he one that's going to be able to break through in his team, or have he just got to find something for him now somewhere else?
Yeah, as much as I want KalvinPhilips to do well, I think his time at City might be done. I think it's unlikely now. I can't really see a path for him to make it back into the team. I do want him to do well. I would love him to stay at City and do well, but I don't see it at this point. I think he's using pre-season. He's putting his all in. He's been training early, and he looked fairly fit, to be honest, in that first half he played. But I think he'll get moved on. To be honest, I don't really see him playing. But like Haaland, he took his goal well to dominate that guy, and he had another couple of chances that Schmeichel saved. But I think Grealish looked pretty sharp. I think the first team lads look pretty decent, and hopefully the Croatians that are coming in, I think, for the next game will follow suit on that.
Yeah, we mentioned it before, Oscar Bobb. Last season, there was a couple of moments in the season, especially the Newcastle away, where people started to take note with Oscar. We have gone out and signed Savio, who's probably going to play on that right-hand side. Oscar Bobb's definitely got to put a marker down. Savino's back at home. This is his chance to shine. And I thought he was probably the best player on the pitch for City. You know what I mean? He really looked well. He got involved. He scored. He set up a couple. Do you see Bobb pushing on this season? And can he break in that first team? Is it going to be a Bobb, Savio, maybe Bernardo sort of freeway on that right-hand side?
Yeah, I think Oscar Bobb's got a lot of work to do to actually get into a position where he's starting every week. But I think he'll definitely pick up minutes, because the way I look at these pre-season games is they don't mean the result. You could lose 8-1, you could win 8-1. I don't think it really means much. I think it's all about just getting the players, getting some minutes, test out a few things, see what happens. And obviously no one there's at full fitness. But I think Oscar Bobb, one thing that stood out a bit to me, I don't know about anyone else, is the fact that he scored a goal. It was a bit of a scrappy goal, and he didn't care. And for me, that means a lot. If he's there punching the air and stuff, I wouldn't have wanted to see that. It's a pre-season game. You can get giddy and excited if you score a goal. But I like the fact that he just basically, it was like a training ground goal. That's what I like to see from him. So I think his head's in the right place. When you listen to him talk in interviews and stuff, I think he sounds like he knows what he's doing. And on the pitch, he's shown it. So I hope, hopefully pre-season. He didn't go to the Euros. Norway didn't make it. He's hopefully been training hard. He looks good in that last game. Two assists and a goal, obviously. And he looks pretty sharp. So I hope if he's got his head screwed on and he gets his head down and works hard, I hope by the start of the season, maybe Charity Shield, and then obviously the Chelsea game, hopefully he's in the squad and playing.
And second half, we've seen Ciosho, Endala, Maximo Perone come in. And I thought them players played well. I thought Endala had a good game on the left. He was coming and excited. I feel like Ciosho in the middle held his own. Perone, I think Perone's got a little bit of something about him. I feel like, he's calm on the ball. He can pass. And even Callum Doyle came in at centre-back. And what I noticed about Callum is some of the balls out from the back, he was playing into tight spaces and that. He was quite good, you know what I mean? It wasn't like he was scared of making the pass. A lot of these young kids, you feel like they might be a bit scared of making a mistake. But a lot of them played open and honest. And I thought second half, we were a better team. Yeah,
I think Endala, as you said, he was on the left wing, pretty energetic. I liked it. He was exciting to watch. I think that's Sissoko in the middle. These guys, Perone as well, they've had cameo appearances, maybe one first-team appearance each. And they look like, if they're getting put in these situations, they look like they might be the business, but obviously they're young players. And then obviously Callum Doyle, I've followed him and his career so far. He's 20 now, I think, and he was 17. He went to Sunderland. They got promoted from League One. He then stepped it up and played in the Championship for a year. He got to the playoff final with Coventry, and then last year he was at Leicester. And obviously it was a little bit of a lesser season for him. He got injured, and I don't think he played as much as probably he wanted. But they obviously won the league, as you said. So he's been stepping up gradually, and now he's at that age where I don't think he'll be quite getting in our team, but he looked good when he came on, I thought. And I think maybe one more year out on loan, and then after that, I think he could definitely be looking like he could be getting into our team.
Yeah, it. I think overall, obviously we lost the game, but we come out the game with no injuries. A lot of them players got a workout. We played up against. There's no point in us going to America and playing, no disrespect, DC United or someone and winning 5-0. For me, that doesn't benefit anybody. You need a team that's going to put it on you a bit. And Celtic, you know, they're a good side and they put it on us. And a few young lads would learn something. I feel like Rico Lewis had a tough time against Almeida out on that right. I feel like obviously down the left hand side in the first half we got terrored off that. Is it Kun? He killed us.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I think there's a few players that are going to learn from it. We've got AC Milan, I think, at weekend, Saturday night. Going to be another tough test, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. AC Milan. We've got Guardiola and Kovacic back in the squad. But what do you expect from that? It's pretty much the same. Do you think we did notice Grealish went inside in the second half and played in the middle, which was interesting? You know, could that be an option next season? Do you think?
I think next season I don't see it. It might happen once or twice. I don't see it being a permanent thing. I just think with the resources we've got at the moment at pre-season, it's very limited the number of people that we had at the Euros and that. So I think Grealish was playing there because he was probably the best player for that position at that time, and I think it also allows some of the other players to try other positions, and obviously Pep's testing things out. But I think AC Milan, we know they're a decent side. They're probably better than Celtic. I'm not too aware of where they're up to in terms of their pre-season, but I'm guessing it's similar to us. So I think that'll be a test maybe in terms of fitness that'll be more similar to us. But I think, as you said, we've not got that many people back. So I think it'll be interesting to see. But I think, it'll be, you know, a lot of subs at half-time again. And I'll be interested to see what moves with the Ederson stuff that I'm sure we'll come on to.
Yeah, well, I was going to bring on to that next. Obviously, Ederson has been linked with a move away. Towards the end of last season, there was rumblings about him not being too happy. He might be seen his ass over a few things. I think a lot of City fans, they love Ederson, and don't get me wrong, he's massive, and he's the best, one of the best, if not the best goalkeeper we've ever had. And you could see the other night how important he is, the way he was calm in the second half, playing the ball out from the back. So I don't want to see him go, and I'm sure no one does. No. City have put a valuation on him. He's obviously had his head turned by the Saudi money, which they seem to be tapping these players up without actually agreeing fees with the club.
Yeah, seems dodgy.
He's come out. I think the Athletic have said he wasn't happy with the Ortega save, and his missus has come out tonight and basically said it's a load of bollocks. I mean, what's your stance on this? I mean, we haven't got a bad backup in Ortega to become number one, but I don't think there's anyone like Ederson. I don't think there is, and I don't want to see him go. I mean, what's your thoughts on it? Do you want it? Would you take the money, or would you just not sell him?
I think it's difficult because obviously Ederson's been pretty much untested his whole time at City, and then Ortega's come in for free, decent first season. But for me, I'd rather have Ederson any day. You know, he saved us in some big moments. Ortega, he seems to be a good shot stopper. You know, he's not bad with his feet. He's a good keeper, and he's very good for free, and he's a very good backup. I think he's probably a little bit overqualified to be a backup, to be honest, which is why I can see why he wanted to leave or whatever, or you know, go for the number one spot. But then it did surprise me a bit for him to get that new contract after the talk of him leaving and Ederson not to do a new contract. It is a little bit weird. I don't think anyone really knows what's going on. I think it's a bit harsh to say that Ederson's going to be upset after one big save in a game. I think there's probably a bit more to it that we probably don't know yet. But I definitely want to see Ederson stay. I don't know if he will, but I want to see him stay. And I think I do notice occasionally in games where we have had last season, Ederson was injured quite a few times, and Ortega obviously got the chances. But I do notice in the occasional game where Ortega plays, and I think if Ederson was there, would he maybe get a bit of a pass over the top or something a bit magic? Because that's what he's like. But yeah, I think it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, a lot of the people in the chat are saying Eddie must stay.
Yeah, I agree.
People saying you can't lose world-class players like KDB, Ederson, etc. Whoever you sign as a replacement are downgradable, makes the team worse. PS next summer will be City's overhaul, in my opinion. A few people saying hello to you, Luke, and myself. So always good to see. Yeah, it's going to be a strange one that in the next few days, whether Ederson will come out and say something. I know his wife has. But I can't get my head around why Ederson would be upset that Ortega saved it and we won the league. If he'd come in and fucking didn't save it, then I can understand why you'd be upset. But to be upset that someone saved it and won us the league, I mean, seems a bit weird. Whether it's the press trying to stir it up, I don't know.
I think it's something that was probably a little bit small that's been blown out of proportion. I remember that thing he put on Instagram afterwards. He normally just goes for the little thumbs up caption and he put something out that said nobody knows what's going on but me or something like that. And to me, I think what it was is you got to look at it. Everyone, these are real people at the end of the day. They're just humans, aren't they? And I watched that game, and Ederson had his head kicked off by somebody that slid in. He got his eye all gouged, like messed up. He's basically injured for the rest of the season. He's been taken out. He's put his head on the line like he has done many times for us. He's been taken out. He did make a good couple saves as well. And then Ortega came on, fair enough, made an amazing save that can't be undervalued at all. It won us the league effectively. That Son chance in the last minute. But I think what Ederson's saying is all the credit after that game went to Ortega. And obviously you'd expect him to get a lot of credit, but people probably forget the fact that he had his head taken off and was injured for the rest of the season because his eye was all bruised up and whatnot. So I can see why, if that was me, I'd be a bit annoyed, maybe a little bit. But I don't think it's as big as people are saying. I think it's more the fact that maybe no one was giving him his flowers.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've just got to stay positive with Ederson. You know what I mean? Remember that little period of time when a lot of these new City fans were giving Ederson a load of shit, and I got a load of shit by sticking up for him. And I'm like, people are crazy. Did you see my story this week with the Manchester City fan that said we are a club that lacks ambition? The Catalans are running us into the ground. We're signing players like Calvin-Phillips. We're a joke. And I was like, is this a wind-up, this? Or
yeah, it's got to be that.
I ended up saying, mate, go and support Chelsea, mate. You get 12, 15 signings a season. You finish mid-table. Do you know? But people are crazy, man. People are crazy. Yeah. We've got a squad which is elite. We've got an academy which is elite. We can't go out and cherry-pick players for 100, 110 million, put them in this squad. It doesn't work like that. Pep said in the press conference, we've got to bide our time. If something happens, it happens. We've got to respect that. We all love transfers. We all want superstars playing for our club. But if we were going out spending reckless, we wouldn't be as successful as we are. We've got to keep in the shadows with our fucking money ready to go. And if a bargain comes up or something happens at a club and we can take advantage of it, we can pounce and take it. Yeah. How many times does a player come out, a Akanji, Bernardo Silva, players that we didn't hear about, and bang, City's got them. And I feel I feel like that's going to happen. I feel like City's got a list of targets, but they're playing it cool in the market. That they're waiting it out and seeing how it goes on. What do you think?
Yeah, well, we've seen it before, and if you've watched, obviously they're not going to give you massive insight in any of these documentaries that kind of fly a fly on the wall type thing. But I've seen it, and I know this is the sort of stuff that goes on. It's not like at United where all of a sudden a transfer window comes along, boom, we want to spend a year following Sancho and buying him for 90 million or something like that. The people behind the scenes know what players they want 5 years before they get them. I actually saw a flashback on my Instagram the other day. How mad's this? City looking at Paquetá, and it was from 2018, the post I did. So if you think about how long ago that is, that's 6 years ago. These players are on the radar. Obviously, that hasn't happened, but these players are on the radar for such a long time. There's scouting going on. They're looking at how long's left on a contract, which player can they get for cheap because there's a low. So they've got a database out there. There'll be somebody that comes along, I'm guessing, in the next month, and everyone goes, yep, we'll have him, and we'll probably sign him for 20 million, like a Kanji, someone that's just floating about. No one's really too bothered about him. But like Kovacic was one of them. Didn't have longer left at Chelsea. Got him for pretty cheap. I'm sure there'll be another one like that at some point, and that's probably the best way to move. You don't want to go spending 100 million on someone when you get a bargain, like you said.
Zayn Mayassi again, the resident Arsenal fan using his dad's credit card. Zayn, you definitely haven't signed a new Maldini from Bologna, mate. Let me tell you that. And it's not the Maldini you need. You need a striker, mate. That's why you finished second for the last 2 seasons and you shit because you can't finish. So you can have the new Maldini all you want, mate. That ain't the problem. He's putting the ball in the net for you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've got this one here from Kieran. Kieran Mohammed, easy big Steve. Went to my first City game, the Celtic game. We need that Southstand spirit in the US. What to do? 25 Celtic fans out chanted us. Well, listen, mate, that is on you. There's nothing me and Luke can do in the UK. You need to get the boys together, yeah, and get singing. And if you can't, you know, if you can't out sing them, go and twat them. You know what I mean? Rip the seats up, throw it at them, punch fuck out of them, whatever you need to do. Do it the English way. Mate. Yeah, you know what I mean? Do it the English way, man. You want to be English, you've got to do it. Watch Green Street, sort your neck out, and next time we play Celtic, remember what Big Steve says: out sing them or twat them. End of that. Big up Slimer. Hello, guys. Yeah, here's one for us. You seen the 14-year-old we signed from America made history becoming youngest player. Yeah, Cavan Sullivan. He scored last night, I think, in a game. I seen him score a penalty. I think they played West Ham. I don't know what that was, a youth game or something. But, I mean, isn't it mad, Luke, how you're signing players at 14?
It's mad, isn't it? And we're not even getting him for three and a bit years. It's mad.
It's crazy. Surely to God, though, there's a risk in that. Remember that Freddie Adu and all that when it all went to his head a bit? I mean, is he going to be the same guy knowing that he's got a fucking 5-year contract at Manchester City coming up? Do you know, does it take your motivation out of it? Are you getting up in the morning at 5 a.m. going for a run? Because you're comfortable, innit, surely?
I think 20 years ago, I think there was that guy, was it Sonny Pike? I think he was called. I listened to a podcast with him on one. And you get these tales of people that were the next big thing and it just didn't work out from all the hype. But I think nowadays it's a little bit different. You know, you've got a team of people keeping them grounded as best they can. I'm not sure. You can never know with someone at 14. You don't know what path he's going to follow or, you know, how he's going to end up being. But he looks promising. And that's all we can say. He looks promising at the moment. And we'll see in 3 or 4 years if he's obviously we can activate that thing to bring him over, and he's got that deal on the line. So we'll see what happens with him. But he looked for someone that's 14, he looks like he's a good footballer. I'll say that.
The kid's bouncing about in Prada boots, mate, at 14. You know what I mean? It's mad, mate. It's mad. But another player that's been linked with a move, probably splits opinion. Julian Alvarez, you know what I mean? He's away at the Olympics at the minute, but they're saying that 80, 90 million, Atletico Madrid, his family are unhappy. I'd take 80, 90 million from me. I would. But it's who you replace him by. But I feel like he deserves to be a number one striker somewhere. He's never going to get past Big Earl. He comes on sometimes and we're trying to pigeonhole him as this number 10 or floating about behind. And I feel like we're a man light sometimes when he's in there. But what's your opinion on him? I mean, he's been fantastic for us. And at 14 million, if we can get 90 million for him, surely it's good business, that. Yeah,
I think, as you said, it's great business. And obviously, if he wants to go and his family want to go and all that stuff, that it seems like, I think you've got to do it, but I think you've got to replace him. But also, it's one of them. He's signed for City. He's instantly won the World Cup. He's then won the treble, and then he's won the league again. So he's sort of done everything in 2 years. Do you know what I mean? He's almost a bit spoiled. Do you know what I mean? As a footballer, he's done everything. I could see why he wants to move on. But again, as you said, I don't think anyone's actually going to pay that. I know he's worth 89 million, but the likes of Atletico aren't going to pull that out of the bag. So I think he'll end up staying. But as you said, it's difficult. He's not going to. When he signed, surely he knew deep down. He knows he's a good player, but surely he knows he's not getting in front of Haaland. They were literally unveiled next to each other. He must know that he's not getting in front of Haaland. And what's unfortunate for him is that we've played, two strikers every now and again, and in a lesser game. But you're not going to start in a Pep team with two strikers like that and play that direct. And I think he can't really play. He struggled. I remember that game at Anfield. He really struggled trying to play on the wing or wherever it was. I think it is a difficult one. I think he might, if he does end up going, I fear we might not get what we deserve for him. But I think he might end up staying.
Well, we have got El Chabiri coming in January, who is at the Olympics as well, so we can check him out. Somebody just mentioned here, would you take 22 million for Galatasaray for Kovacic and keep McAtee? I don't think 22 million is going to change the world for us. So I'd rather have Kovacic. I feel like last season, towards the end, he was good. And I feel the biggest problem, Luke, is the Rodri situation. We've got a player that's that good. He's irreplaceable, and his position for Man City is so important that when he doesn't play, we literally don't tick. I mean, Calvin was in there the other night. The balls were going all over the place. It was just not, when you've watched Rodri, it's not the answer. I mean, I feel like no big player is going to sign for City in that position and play second fiddle to Rodri. I feel like we need to go out and get a youngster that's willing to shadow Rodri for a few years. Like when Rodri came in, Fernandinho was the number one, and Rodri had to take a back seat. And then when it was time for Rodri, Fernandinho accepted that, and he moved back and said, he's the man now. I'll come in last 20 minutes, rattle a few cages, sort it out. And I feel like we need a youngster that is confident enough to say, somebody mentioned Perone and said, look, he can receive the ball because he's good at getting the ball. He can pass in tight spaces. It's just whether he's physical enough to get about the pitch like Rodri. I mean, have you seen anyone out there that can do that job? I
think it is tough. Like I said, I think you're not going to get anyone that can do Rodri's job. And I think
so people are saying, but
maybe. But again, with these guys, I think it's, I don't want to say guesswork, but nobody, unless you're some guy that's fair play, watched every game Sissoko's played this season. Or, do you know what I mean? I don't think anyone truly knows other than Pep and the people around him if this guy can do it. I think, and it's a lot of pressure to put on someone. So we'll see. I just don't even know. I don't even know where to start with trying to replace Rodri, because I just don't think you can. I think you got to just compromise it somehow or play differently, I think.
And Ed's Mancunian Therapy said youngsters aren't waiting to play anymore, Steve. I mean,
yeah, true.
I get that. I do get that. What was interesting the other night on the press conference, Pep talking about younger players and that, and we were talking about how important Phil Foden is to this academy, that he didn't choose the I want first team football route and go and just fucking go out on loan like what Sancho did, or this I want to move. He stayed behind, and I feel like now this academy is, people can see a path all the way to the first team through Foden and think, if I'm patient, I could end up like Phil. If I'm impatient, no disrespect, I could end up like Sancho. So I think that with Oscar Bobb and Rico Lewis and Foden in the team, I feel like this academy set up now, there's a pathway for the kids to get through. We won the cup, the FA Cup. So I think by the end of this tour, there'll be one or two of them players that are going to make a claim for a spot in that in the first team squad, shall we say?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on. I think Pep's weighing him up as he does every year. He's looking who's decent. I remember a couple of years ago, Rico Lewis, I bet no one expected him at 17 to end up getting into the first team. I remember that game against Bayern, he beat a couple of men at the post. And I was thinking, who is this guy here? And he, all of a sudden, within a few months, he's starting games at 17, 18 for the first team. So, yeah, it's basically just look and see who's got it and who hasn't got it. And I'm sure Pep will loan out a few guys. Some of them might end up going quite late because you're waiting to see if we can get someone else in. And, you know, sometimes you wait until right near the end of the window, and that's when Cole Palmer left last season and McAtee went back out on loan and all these guys. So I think just weighing up, see who's got it and who hasn't.
I mean, looking at what we're being told with the players that aren't going to be ready for the first game, I think the Charity Shield could be a very, very young team. But, yeah, I mean, there's people like Nunes. No disrespect to Nunes. You've come to Manchester City last year. You're dying to get involved. You've not had many minutes. You've gone to play for Portugal. You've not had many minutes.
Yeah.
Have a quick week's holiday. Get back on that plane and get to City and say, you know what, I'm ready to go here. You get in that team. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird one with that. But
I agree. I think if I was him, and as you said, I'm not asking him to come straight from the Euros to America. But even now, you know, he's seen Kovacic and Gvardiol, they're back in. I'd just jump on the plane with them. He's had a couple of weeks off now. He should be rested up. I think I don't see why he's not jumping on the plane, to be honest.
As you can see, the background has just changed. Yeah. This is what it should have been. This is my new sponsor. Let me just introduce the stairspecialist.com. This guy's a big City fan, and he actually did my stairs in my house. So if you've got stairs in your house that look shit, yeah, and you want stairs that look mint, yeah, get on the stair specialist, because he made my shit staircase look like I live in a £5 million mansion in Miami. It's all glass, it's all dark wood, and it looks the bollocks. And he's a City fan, so he's willing to sponsor the channel. We're all Blues. We look after each other. If you're sat there now thinking, you know what, I could do with new stairs, this is the guy, the stair specialist. Just tell him Big Steve sent you. I've heard about this, glass banister rail and that. I need it in my gaff. It doesn't matter if you live in Harper or Ale. This guy will fix it. That's all I'm saying. So we've plugged him enough, the stair specialist. But anyway, Luke, you don't need a new staircase, do you, lad?
I'm chilling, mate. Don't worry about me. But I'm sure.
Listen, there's no sponsor ever had a build-up like that. But he's a great guy, Tom. Give him a message. And I'm telling you now, you won't be disappointed. So there's people in the chat saying they've never had stairs. Fucking hell, Sean. Don't want glass stairs. What do you mean you don't want glass stairs? No, glass rail, mate. The rail, you know what I mean? You're not glass stairs. You know what I mean? It's not fucking New York. I'm just saying, it's nice. You know what I mean? You get a bit of polish on it and that. Polish the glass down. It's sweet, man. It's sweet. Show the stairs. The stairs are coming. Next episode, I'll show you my stairs, man. Do you know what I mean? What's this? It's sponsored by the roof specialists. Well, listen. Yeah, we won't go there without the leaky roof. You know what I'm saying? Anyone knows a good roof, I'll send him over there. But there has been a signing, Luke. Savio, he has come in. Very, very young, raw. What gets me is when these people go, oh, he came from a Man City-owned team. That's not bent, is it? It's like, hold on a minute. That's the fucking reason why we do it. You know what I mean? We've got a City group, so we can put players out on loan and weigh it all up. You know what I mean? It's not our fault we're ahead of the curve. But Savio, what do you make of him?
Yeah, I've watched a few clips here and there like everyone else will have, and he looked good at Girona last season. So it'd be interesting to see what he can do. I think it's a bit unfortunate really for him, because we've had that little going on transfer-wise and people coming in. He's almost got now this sort of pressure, a little bit of pressure in from the fan base that, he's almost a marquee signing this summer. So it's difficult for him, but I think he'll do well. I think he seems direct, he's skillful, he's a bit something different, like we saw with Doku coming in last season. So I think he'll be good.
Do you think that we could possibly see a return to the flying wingers, a bit like the Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sané days, where we had that pace and we could get in and around the back? Do you think Pep's going back to that system this year? Because I feel like if we did, I feel like Erling and Haaland would thrive if them two behind and get that ball across. You know what I mean?
Well, it's exciting if that's the case, because I remember watching some of them games back in 2018-19. I think about that, obviously, when we got knocked out by Tottenham in the Champions League. They were like basketball games, end-to-end, exciting football. And it does just get you off your feet. I want to win. I'd rather win 1-0 than draw 6-0 like anyone would. But it is interesting to see if that's what Pep goes for. Maybe it's just another option. It might be like one of these games, these games where Arsenal come and park the bus and it's 0-0. If you have a different approach from the first minute and you're right at him from the first minute with these skillful, direct players, I think it's just another option for us. It makes it a bit more dynamic as a team. You don't know what's coming. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, and I feel like when you take a step back and look at our team, and we look at the defence, the goalkeeper, the defence, Guardiola, Ake, Stones, Diaz, Akanji, Rico, Kyle, I don't see a problem there. We look covered enough. You look into the midfield, the Rodris, De Bruyne, Bernardo, Foden, Kovacic. I do feel we're a little light in the middle. We could do with one or two more. The wide players, we've got a lot of options. And this myth about Man City having a massive squad, we know it's bollocks, but we've got a lot of players that can play in a number of positions. So, we are okay there. But I just got a feeling they've got something brewing, and there might be some late moves, like you said. Mcfc might end up going out on loan. KalvinPhilips might go out on loan. We might end up selling somebody out the blue. But if you could buy anybody at the minute, Luke, anyone that caught your eye where you think he's a Manchester City player, he's for the future, we need to get him, especially with Kevin De Bruyne slowing it down a little bit and coming to the end where you might see him go next season. I mean, who would you be looking at?
I think it's difficult because as you said, we don't know who's leaving yet. So I think everyone wants a replacement, or not a replacement, but a backup option to Rodri. And I think it's difficult, but I'm sure behind the scenes we're weighing up who we could get for that. We don't want to be too hasty and jump and get someone, and someone ends up having to stay or someone has to go. I think we're just weighing it up. We're weighing it up. I really don't know, and that's the problem. I think I really don't know who to sign. I do think we let Ilkay Gundogan go a bit early. I think that has sort of had a bit of a knock-on effect. Even though we brought Kovacic in last season, I think we should have defo kept Gundo at least 1 or even 2 more years. But if he wanted to go, he wanted to go. And I think the problem with that transfer for me is that he just went a little bit too quickly. It was like I blinked and he'd gone to Barca already. So it's difficult. I really don't know who to sign because I don't know who's going. I don't know what might be on the cards, to be honest. But we've not really spent any money this summer. That's what's a little bit concerning. But you got to trust them. You know what I mean?
Sean Fogarty says he sent you an email, Luke. Can you check your emails?
Yeah, man. Check it.
We will check it, Sean. Don't worry, mate. Don't panic. He'll check it. Rico Lewis, v Celtic, not only can be the Walker replacement, but he should play right back either. He shouldn't be playing right back. I mean, that's hard with Rico. We don't think we've nailed a position down for him. I mean, he prefers the 8 role, I feel like. But what's your take on Rico? Is he in no man's land at the minute? You know, where does he stand?
I think the problem is that he was that good at a young age that he just sort of got shoved to right back. And I think he definitely, I saw an interview with him recently. He said he wants to play as an 8, but obviously he's such a humble guy, he'll play anywhere and he's a team player. So I think he is going to end up playing right back as he has been doing, but it's that inverted role. And I think he can very easily end up at some point playing a game in centre mid. And I'm excited to see it because he's still only 19. He's 19 and he's probably got 100 City games under his belt for the first team or something mad like that. So I'm interested to see how he does, to be honest.
This is an interesting one, to be fair. I'd argue that young players look at Cole's situation where he forced his way out and became a star more favorably than Phil's patience. Cole may not rack up trophies, but he's a star right now. I mean, hindsight's a great thing. At the time Cole Palmer left, I don't think any City fans saw him getting in the team. He had Mahrez ahead of him at one point, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. The money came in. He took good money. He's gone to Chelsea. Chelsea's had a poor season. He's shining. That could be a one-off. There's plenty. For every Cole Palmer, there's at least 6 or 7, 8 that go too early and just fade away. Remember Charlie McNeil? You know, Man United, he left Man City, 600 goals. I'm a United fan. Goes to United. I'm going to be this. Scores against City. Kissing his badge. I'm Billy Big Bollocks. Right down the leagues. He's at Sheffield Wednesday now on a free. Bobby Duncan. Steven Gerrard's cousin. All his academy career through Man City. Pushes for a move to Liverpool, his boyhood club. Then accuses Liverpool of bullying him. Goes to Fiorentina. Ended up, he's got no club now. Derby County, whatever. So there's these tales of these promising kids getting swallowed up and getting a bit too big for the boots. But I don't know. It's tough. I get that point. I do. I get that point. Some kids probably do look at Cole. But I feel like the Phil Foden path a few years ago wasn't there. And I feel like a lot of City's academy players couldn't see further than that EDS. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. County Stones has played right back. Doubt another one incoming. Yeah, I get that. Also playing like the main person. But I don't know. This is a bad one here that came in before, which I noticed. It's off topic. Did you see Bordeaux? He's no more. Did you see that? Bordeaux have just wrapped up. They've just given notice to the French Football Federation that they're no longer going to be a football club, and that's it. They played Southampton.
Liquidated, or
yeah, just gone, finished. And
has
yesterday
that been ongoing for a while, or they just folded up?
I don't know. I just seen it, and I was like, "That is wild, mate. That is absolutely wild." Speaking of wild, Luke, have you seen the new 4th kit designed by Noel Gallagher? Now, is Noel Gallagher taking the piss with that? Because I have no clue where he's got that from. Man United have got the Stone Roses kits that look absolutely sensational, and we've got a fucking kit that looks like the cast of Toy Story have fucking designed it.
It honestly looks like if you said to me, you've got half an hour to make the worst possible kit with colours, design, everything, that is the kit. Genuinely, that is the kit. I don't know. they reckon it's inspired by the Definitely Maybe album. It looks like it's awful. I really hope that's not the kit, but I think it might be.
No, but I've seen a guy wearing it. If you go, I went on Facebook yesterday. There's a guy wearing the kit, mate. He's got the kit. It's terrible. If it's a Definitely Maybe one, I'd have rather it had a fucking fireplace on it, and somebody and Noel Gallagher lay on the floor, or Liam lay on the floor, and Noel sat on a couch. At least I could resonate with it. It's just
even just like a faded pattern of it in the middle. Do you know what I mean? Like a faded with a few colours or like a few bits out of it. It's rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. I really hope Noel Gallagher's not designed that, and if he did, I think he did it on Microsoft Paint at 3 a.m, mate, because it's rubbish. Yeah,
off his neck on Spice. Because it's terrible, mate. It's terrible.
So poor, isn't it?
We have got the third kit, which I believe is launched tomorrow. The maroon-looking one. I know there's a big, massive event in New York, which is great.
Bobb?
I've seen Bobb.
Oscar Bobb posted it up early. Whoever's in charge of his social media is going to be a bit of bother because he's posted up a day early, all out, and then it's been deleted again. But yeah,
but it's not a bad kit.
I don't mind.
They're doing a launch in New York.
Yeah.
Where's the launch in Manchester? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, good.
Last year we're in Tokyo, lightning bolts and fucking buses with holograms on top of it. I'm going down to the City shop last year buying kids' kits because there's fuck all happening. Yeah. Me and Luke tomorrow could have been at the City store.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have charged City a penny. You know what I mean? Yeah. Dishing out the kits and having a bit of crack. But no, yet again, everyone's in New York having a jolly up and a barbecue and a fucking Puma party with Guardiola and Ederson. And we're doing fuck all in Manchester. And basically, if you want the kit, just go and get it. If you don't, no one gives a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's mad.
That's how I'm starting to feel, mate. But tell you what, the away kit, the green and the black one, celebrating the 99, that's going to be one of the best ever kits we've ever made, I think.
They missed a trick, though. I really think they missed a trick. Why? They could have dropped that on the 25-year anniversary of that game, and it'd have been all free advertised. Do you know what I mean? Like hype and everything from that. But looks like it's coming out soon, so we'll see. It looks good.
It's coming out, I think, 7th of August, I've heard. Weren't you supposed to be in New York? I was, mate. Long story. I was going to New York, but I was suffering from my back. And I thought, I don't want to be in New York with a bad back on my jack because they had some events they wanted me to go to, the City fan ones. And I thought, last thing you want is miserable Steve with his bad back. And then City called and said, will you do the pitch side live show? Which I did the other night with Paul Dickoff, which is always a pleasure. I'm doing that on Monday night. I'm just chilling for this game. But listen, I'm doing my thing. We're doing little bits for City. Luke, I hopefully soon will be doing some little bits for the City fans, a little content with City and that, which you might be able to see soon. So it's all good, mate. It's all good. But next year's the one, Luke, the big one, the World Club Cup in America. We're having that, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll be there, mate. We'll be there. So any Americans watching, I'll see you out there, hopefully.
Here's 115. We've never heard that one before, mate. Well done, lad. Do you know what I mean? Terrible. Any of the mods, just block him.
Steve, we need to get them shirts that guy had that I saw, mate. That was sick,
that was rad. Did you just see him walking down the street?
Honestly, I was walking to Nando's. He's just walking down the road and he's there, mate, with it. 115 piss boilers. Hopped over the fence and he was there, mate. Just stood there.
You couldn't
have made it up. You couldn't have made it up, mate. I think he said he got it recently as well. But I just want to see whoever's working in the City shop's face when he said, "Yeah, I'll get 115 piss boilers on the back."
Mate, do you know that? Do you know that away kit, the new one?
Yeah.
The 99 one.
Yeah.
I was in Burnley. I had to go to Burnley for something, yeah, and I'm walking through the high street, and in the shop window, that kit's in the shop window of this shop. Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? It's absolutely mad.
And I went up to it and I went, let me have a look at that kit. And it was 40 quid. And I got it, ended up buying it for my dad because he only had a large left.
Yeah,
I got it for my dad. So my dad, he's 60-year-old and he's bopping about in a new City away kit. So if he gets nicked, I said, you didn't get it off me.
I think it's gone quite mad, hasn't it? Because obviously these kits, like, they're mass producing them and that. So they're going to be, we see them knocking about on Twitter and that in about March, usually, don't we? March, April time. And it's mad because clubs are basically 10 years ago, you'd have a big kit launch and all of a sudden, bang, there's the kit. Everyone's loving it. Everyone knows about it 6 months before. So I don't know whether they're going to end up. There's no way they can keep a lid on it because there's that many factories and shops and websites with it on. But maybe they need to start dropping them.
It's in apparently it's in Amsterdam. My mate was in Amsterdam, sent me a picture. It was in a Foot Locker in Amsterdam.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the best shirts. But other than that, mate, I went to the shop the other day. I do feel they're missing a trick in the City store. I feel like we don't sell enough merchandise of the players.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, I feel like we should have a massive Erling Haaland section where if you've even got a fiver in your pocket, you can buy something with Haaland, whether it be a little card or a box
key
or
ring,
a key ring, and then De Bruyne, you should be able to get a normal T-shirt that just has De Bruyne on for tenner. I feel like there's a gap. You come in the shop and you literally got to buy a shirt for a one-off or a training top, or I don't think there's any in between. And I don't know. This has been brought up with City and that, but
tricky, isn't it? Because obviously they're in that like makeshift shop at the moment. Obviously, with all the stuff going on, they've moved it round to them old offices, haven't they? So it's a bit difficult at the moment. But I'm sure we'll see. Hopefully, when the new everything drops in a year or so, hopefully it's all looking good.
No, it's right. And that. What's the likes on? Can anyone see the likes? What we on?
I can't see them.
I know we need to get them likes sorted out. Please hit the like button.
Get the likes up. Come on.
Come on, man. Taking the piss, man. This is a show every week now, Thursday, 7 o'clock. It's the Big Steve show. It's like Neighbours, mate. You know, you used to rush home and watch Neighbours, Biker Grove, Grange Hill, you're home and away. This is what it's like. You got to rush home to watch the Big Steve show. You know what I mean? We are the South Stand. We want to get everybody involved. We've got to keep it going. But other than that, Luke, looking forward to the game against Milan. I appreciate you coming on.
No worries.
What are you up to? Is there anything you want to push? Let the people know where they can find you.
Yes, obviously, I don't know if anyone knows about this. I've basically finished uni now, so I'm trying to do this as much as I can now every day. I'm going to be getting out in Manchester in the next couple of weeks and hopefully throughout the season interviewing people a bit here and there. There's going to be loads more stuff coming on the social, so just watch out. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. It's all going to be coming out, hopefully more videos. So if anyone sees me out in town, come over and say hello and get on. I'll be asking a few questions to people.
Yeah, so Luke's going to be doing this more or less full time. So get behind him, support him. He goes home and away. It is tough to do content when you're going home and away watching the Blues, as you will appreciate. But we look after our own. We're Manchester City fans. We're the best in the world. We're a close-knit community. We look after our own. That's why you need to get a staircase from the staircase specialist. No, listen. Big up the staircase specialist for sponsoring me. If you need a staircase, go and see Tom. Big up for Luke MCFC, lads, for coming on. And everybody that's joined in tonight, we appreciate you loads. Leave a comment. I'll get back to you in the comments. And all I'm going to say is, up the Blues, and no Gallagher, stop designing shirts. Come on, City.